Okie dokie. Welcome back to DCS 2.5. I've got a spit here and it's fairly early in the morning, dawn. We've got a few AI with us here as well. Jump in the cockpit and... Okie dokie. Welcome back to DCS 2.5. I've got a spit. Unpause it. And I just had the live stream playing back through, so I've got rid of that. We will get ourselves started in just a second. Going through a few checks here. Just get enough cockpit lighting so that we can see what we're doing, I think. Magneto's on. Switch covers open. Fuel on. And we'll pump some fuel in here. Right, we should be good to start this thing. Sounds like we've got some Mustangs getting airborne over there too. Check we've got enough fuel in the system and that the fuel cock is on. Yes, everything's on here. Accidentally put the mixture full up then. Bit much RPM, but we're okay. We'll get rolling. And we're going to follow those Mustangs. They went over this way somewhere. I do want to just check the map to make sure I can get the... So I need to go left and then right onto the runway. So we'll line up here. There's a P-51 airborne. I will close that canopy now because it's awfully loud out there, and I'm just going to see if my wingmen have started making their way over. I think they're going to sit there on the parking lot until I get airborne. So we'll try and get airborne. Just trimming the nose down a little bit. That's about right. Still very difficult to taxi the spit. As you can see, it's very touchy on the rudder controls still, and we appear to have gotten airborne. Check the flaps are up. Gear is coming up. I'll just hazard an external view for a second here. Very good. So I'll go into a left-hand orbit and we'll wait till the other chaps get airborne. And whilst we're doing that, we'll just have a little bit of a look around here. Because it is pretty damn gorgeous. I'm hoping we'll get the chance to have a look at the now functioning rear view mirror, which would also be nice. Just setting up in a basic sort of downwind. There we go. One of the other guys is getting airborne. AI wingman. We're going to proceed up the coast and then we're going to turn inland and head to Ghz. There's these baked on reflections which I don't like. I'm really hoping that a integrity check compatible mod comes out so we can go back to having the clear canopy glass devoid of these ridiculous reflection textures. Hey Tricker. We're going to be turning up the coast in a few minutes. I'm waiting for the other aircraft to fall in position. I'll throttle back, bring the RPM back, and I'll just trim the aircraft so we can go hands off. There we go. That's pretty reasonable. A little bit of a climb. One notch nose down, and we'll go have a little listen externally. So, as per the description, this will be a nice gentle flight. We won't be doing any fighting or shooting. We're just going to be cruising along in the Spitty, enjoying the beautiful new DCS 2.5. And I can see the wingman quite clearly in the mirror. I'll keep the engine settings as they are for the moment. And we'll just head over inshore. So they're taking their time shaking out into formation. I do have them set to a 50 by 50 meter finger 4, which is supposed to be the close finger 4. We'll see if they manage to achieve it. Really stuns me that this map comes free. You could actually enjoy a flight like this in the T-51, the Mustang trainer, without paying a penny. You'd get the map and you get the trainer for free. So you could actually do this without spending a single cent on DCS with a different Warbird. It's pretty amazing. Here we are crossing the coast. We'll now just make a slight left turn. The chaps are pretty much in position. We'll see if they will do their own terrain avoidance. I've noticed that in the jets sometimes your AI wingmen can be a little bit extreme with their unwillingness to fly low level. And these guys seem like they're okay with the idea. About 200 to 300 feet maybe above these trees here. And he's getting a bit nervous. And he's dropped in behind, so that's about as close as they're willing to fly to the terrain. Actually, he got right on those treetops just then. The nice river just visible there down that little gully. This is lovely and dark up that valley there. And then we'll pop out onto the sun side of this range and everything will start to look quite different. Still got my wingman behind me. It can be downloaded now. This was released on the 30th of January at about mid-afternoon for European time. So it is available now. DCS World website will have download links. The map is free. Okay, I'll just get a couple of externals here while we're climbing up towards this ridge. It's running out of airspeed there. Get the wings level. As we slide down the other side. So I'm just going to bring up my frame rate counter. And I'm getting 46, 47 frames here, so it's a little bit light. I only have a 980 Ti graphics card, and the guys with the 1080 cards are reporting frame rates up around 70 to 100, even down here, which is really spectacular. Yeah, AGZ Tailster, just install either 1.5 or 2.1, doesn't really matter. You actually have to run an updater, an exe file, to update it to the open beta. It's a little bit of a complicated process. You have to use the command prompt and tell it to update to the open beta, which will give you the new Caucasus map. My advice would be to either go onto Reddit and check out the Hoggit subreddit, or jump on the ED forums, because the process, you kind of need to see it written down. If I explain it over the stream, it probably will be a little bit difficult to follow. Performance-wise, people keep asking if it's better. No, of course it's not better performance-wise, because everything's newer. So if you have the same hardware and everything is higher quality textures, higher resolution, of course you're going to lose frame rate unless you upgrade your hardware. It runs, for me, I would say a little bit better than Normandy, but about the same as Nevada. It obviously isn't nearly as smooth as 1.5.8, but 1.5.8's 6-7 years old, so of course that's going to run smoother. But it's lovely. It's absolutely worth losing 20 frames per second or whatever it is for this. I have no concerns about the slight loss in frame rate, because it looks so incredibly good. And the lighting, this is with deferred shading. I've got quite a lot of graphics options on. I might actually just show that just after we've landed. I'll throw up my graphics options so people can see. I do not have everything on max. I've got a few things just down one setting below max. But yeah, once you're in and you have a fly, it's just fantastic. They've done such a damn fine job. This is far beyond my expectations, to be honest. And I haven't really come across any... Well, I haven't even come across any minor bugs, really, let alone major ones. I was really expecting the first few weeks of this to be riddled with bugs and crashes and stutter and problems, but so far, nothing. It's been... For me, this has been the best Eagle Dynamics release that I've ever participated in, by far. Footloose and bug-free, from what I can tell. There are bits and pieces. I'm sure other people who are flying the jets and flying over different terrain and whatnot are finding things, but certainly no showstoppers. Yeah, it does look incredible. It's ridiculous. I'll go externals again. Just worried that the aircraft doesn't have any kind of autopilot, so I do have to be pretty precise with my trimming. And I've got a bit of agricultural land use down here now, so we're going to drop down. A little bit stuttery here, but I've got 50 frames per second. This is a pretty densely populated part of the map. There's a lot of buildings around here. Yeah, it's just a little stuttery. It's the first time I've seen stutters actually. It's hardly noticeable, but I'm just going to push the prop pitch up to about 2900 because we're going to be maneuvering a little bit, so I want a little bit of acceleration at my disposal. Yeah, a little bit of stutter as we come around that corner. Could be the water. This is convincing me to get a 1080 graphics card so I can really see this in all its glory. We'll climb up here. The long shadows with the low sun look fantastic as well. Yeah, a bit stuttery here. I have been running the mission editor for the last few hours, and I've done a couple of other flights already, so it might just be that my machine's wanting a bit of a reset. My specs are, I've got a i5 6600K processor. It's running at 3.5. I've got a 980 Ti graphics card, which is not overclocked. I have DCS running on an SSD, and I also have Windows 10 on an SSD, separate one. So both my OS and DCS are on SSDs. And that's it for the hardware, really. The hardware that matters. There's 16 gigs of just standard DDR3 RAM in here. Nothing outrageous on the RAM side. But I think having a relatively good CPU and a competent graphics cards is basically all you need. And it's not super smooth. Like I say, there's a few stutters, and I'm getting 48 FPS here. I'm just checking if I'm slow enough to attempt a landing. I may not be. Okay, we've got ourselves down in one piece, which is always pleasant. Does seem easier to land the Spitfire than it did previously. Got my wingman buzzing around overhead. I'm just going to take us off the grass, off the runway onto the grass here. I'll just move a bit further forward. Okay, jolly good. Leave it at an idle engine. So there we go, there's a nice little scenic flight. We flew from Batumi, I think it was. Yeah, Batumi, and we've landed up here at Kutaisi. So we flew up the coast and then across this mountainy sort of hilly bit here and landed. And the sun is getting a little bit higher in the sky now, which always makes for some beautiful shots. We can lift those flaps. We can turn the lights off there. Look at a bit of the background as well. It's really fantastic. So I'll put the brakes on. And mixture, lean that out. And just throttle forward and burn off any excess fuel that's sitting in there. Yeah, so I've got the grass set to about 80% of its max range. So for me, it's quite good. My frame rate here on the ground with the aircraft stopped is 60. And I use vertical syncing capped at half of my refresh rate. So my refresh rate's 120. I have the VSync set to 60. And that is giving me 60 frames from now. Actually, it's giving me just above 60. That'll settle back down. So here it's actually pretty decent. The worst frame rate I got on this flight was about here, in this area here. I think it's because there's quite a lot of trees, water, houses, agriculture. There's all sorts of mixes of stuff going on. And that's the busiest sort of section for me when it